Hey family, I come to you with sorrow in my heart. How do you honor a dearly departed freedom fighter? Today I pay homage to Reverend Jesse Jackson, who contributed so much to the freedom struggle. I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. If you know anything about the Reverend Jesse Jackson, he often spoke in rhyme or in couplets. And I believe he did that because that was his love language to Black people. If you ever listen to the poem, I Am Somebody, that he wrote, at the very end, he says, I am God's child. But before that, he says something I thought was interesting. He says, I must be respected. I must be protected. And I kept running that over in my mind. I must be respected. Not I should be, but I must be. It's a mandate that those of us who wear this beautiful Black skin and we walk with this melanin daily, that we must be respected and we must respect each other. When I think about Reverend Jesse Jackson, I go back to the assassination of Dr. King and Reverend Jackson saying that the night before, when King had delivered his last sermon, that there was a kind of heaviness, but by the morning they were actually joking around with each other. Jesse Jackson said that Dr. King actually joked him for not being formal in the clothes he was wearing for dinner. And Jesse Jackson said, hey, the only prerequisite is an appetite, not having to have a tie. And he says it felt like mere moments later when the gunshot rang out and he saw Dr. King fall. And he mentioned that he felt a combinations of emotions all at one time: pain, anger, sorrow. And one of the things, family, I want you to remember, he said that after he had a chance to process the grief, he said he had never seen a funeral like that, where the funeral directors were crying, the pastors was crying. When he processed the grief, he said, I realized that we cannot let one bullet stop a movement. We couldn't let one bullet stop a movement. So he went on. He carried the baton. And so one of the things I remember Jesse Jackson did for the hip hop movement, he told the great rapper Curtis Blow, he said, you all are the next phase of the freedom struggle. He spoke directly to hip hoppers. Like, you all are next. We've carried the baton through the civil rights, Black Power movement, but you all are next. As I think about the 80s and what Reverend Jackson's impact, I think about him running for president. And I was too young at the time to vote, but I remember just thinking, looking at his Black face, looking at the afro, and how much it reminded me of my father's aesthetic, who kept, to this very day, he still has his afro. And one of the things that Reverend Jackson said as he ran for president, he was like, yeah, I wanted to win, but I wanted to raise the ambition level of Black people. Right? I want you to raise your ambition level to see yourself as president and take ownership of who we are in America. I think about Reverend Jesse Jackson appearing on one of my all-time favorite sitcoms, y'all, A Different World. And on this show, he speaks to college students. And he reminds them that when you walk across that stage with your diploma, you should have a voting card in one hand and a diploma in the other. And he reminds them that we can make a difference. One person can make a difference. One person can make a difference. So as I end my tribute to Reverend Jesse Jackson, I think what we take from his resting in peace and power is that those of us in this freedom struggle, we carry this baton that we've received so lovingly from our elders. And then our responsibility is to pass it to the next generation and help them run further and faster. Thank you, Reverend Jackson. Thank you for reminding us that I am somebody. Rest in peace, rest in power. We love you, Reverend Jackson.